For centuries, sailors returned from the sea with tales of haunting calls echoing beneath the waves, cries that sounded almost human, yet impossibly deep and melodic. They chalked it up to sea monsters, to hallucinations, to legends passed down in salt and storm. But what if they weren't just hearing sounds? What if they were overhearing a civilization? Not one built with hands or fire or stone, but with sound, memory, and a language we were never meant to hear. Because now, for the first time, scientists are not just listening, they're answering. And what they've found hidden in the depths of the ocean might be the closest thing to alien intelligence we've ever encountered on Earth. It began not with a spaceship or a message from the stars, but with a whale. Back in the 1970s, a revolution was quietly set in motion. Marine biologists first recorded the eerie and beautiful calls of the humpback whale. These weren't random noises. The songs had structure, rhythm, repetition. Change over time. They were passed from one whale to another like verses in a communal anthem. People listened, and they were moved. The album Songs of the Humpback Whale went viral before viral was even a word. It inspired legislation, launched conservation efforts, and saved entire species. But even then, we only scratched the surface. For decades, scientists tried to make sense of the clicks, whistles, and pulses of whale communication. Were they mating calls, warnings, echoes of emotion? No one knew, until the arrival of something whales themselves never saw coming: artificial intelligence. Enter Dr. David Gruber and Project CETI, short for Cetacean Translation Initiative. It's like SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, but pointed downward into our own oceans. Because what if the intelligent life we've been looking for isn't on another planet, but swimming beneath us? Gruber brought together an unprecedented team: biologists, linguists, cryptographers, roboticists, AI specialists, all united by one goal: decode the language of whales. Not mimic it, not guess at it, understand it. And to do that, they had to build something the world had never seen: a 20-kilometer-wide underwater listening network fitted with state-of-the-art hydrophones and AI-powered data processors. Think of it as a massive oceanic surveillance system, but instead of tracking submarines, it listens to the voices of giants. In the waters off Dominica, where families of sperm whales return generation after generation, the team began recording everything. Every click, every murmur, every silence. Sperm whales don't speak the way we do. They use codas, bursts of rapid-fire clicks that vary in rhythm, spacing, and ornamentation. To us, it sounds like static. To them, it might be poetry. Project CETI has now compiled the largest library of whale vocalizations in history, billions of data points. And here's where the magic happens. Using deep learning, the AI began to find patterns. Not just repeated phrases, but grammar, syntax, dialects. Whale clans have distinct accents. And then, something extraordinary occurred. The AI predicted a coda before a whale even said it. It wasn't just recognizing patterns, it was starting to comprehend. This wasn't just data analysis, this was a Rosetta Stone moment. For the first time, researchers could not only identify which whale was speaking, but also determine the emotional and social context of the message. A long, spaced-out coda might indicate reassurance between mother and calf. A staccato rhythm might warn of nearby threats. Or, most astonishingly, some codas seem to reflect identity. I am me. You are you. We are us. These weren't just sounds. They were sentences. They were names. But here's where the story turns. Not toward the past, but toward a dangerous and profound future. Because if we can understand whales, can we talk back? The CETI team is already experimenting with rudimentary responses. Carefully crafted sequences broadcast from underwater speakers, one pulse at a time, trying to mimic what the AI believes a greeting or call means. And in 2023, the unthinkable happened. A whale replied. It repeated the exact same coda that had been broadcast. This wasn't just mimicry, it was turn-taking. Intentional, interactive, it was a conversation. So what does this mean? If whales have a language, they have a culture. If they have a culture, they have memory. If they have memory and names, and sentences, and clans, and dialects. Then we are not the only species on Earth with civilization. But here's the twist no one saw coming. Some linguists now believe that the whale language might actually be more complex than ours. Why? Because their medium, sound in three-dimensional space echoing through water, allows for nuances we can't replicate with tongue and teeth. One AI analysis even found potential recursion, the ability to embed thoughts within thoughts, something once believed to be uniquely human. In other words, whales may not just be talking. They may be thinking in ways we haven't even begun to understand. And that leads us to the terrifying possibility. What if we've been hurting a sentient species for centuries? What if every time a whale beached itself, it wasn't confused but desperate? What if they've been calling out, not just to each other, but to us, and we simply weren't listening? Until now. Because here's where AI, for all its controversies, may finally be used for something truly noble, not replacing human thought, but amplifying empathy. Giving us the tools to understand what we've ignored for too long, and maybe, just maybe, this understanding can ripple outward. If we can decode the language of another species, could we one day decode the language of any intelligence? Dolphins, elephants, ravens, aliens? Some of the tools developed by Project CETI, spectral classifiers, unsupervised pattern recognition, context-aware language models, are already being adapted to analyze hypothetical extraterrestrial signals. Yes, you heard that right. Whale language might be the training ground for alien communication. But let's come back to Earth. The real message here isn't out there in space. It's right beneath us. In the oceans we've poisoned, the species we've hunted, the creatures we've underestimated. Now that we know whales have language, the question is, what will we do with that knowledge? Will we create new laws to protect them, recognize their rights, include them in how we think about intelligence? Or will we do what humanity has always done, discover something miraculous, and exploit it? Because if we're about to open a channel between species, between civilizations, then every word, every click, every pause matters. We are no longer alone in our ability to speak. We are no longer the only ones writing the story of Earth. The whales have been telling it for millions of years. We're just starting to learn how to read.